everyone, welcome to a brand new fresh episode of #Unplugged. Today we will be speaking everything which is related to maritime industry. I'm here at P&O Maritime Logistics, an entity of DP World. We will be speaking about health, safety and how important that is playing a very key role in the broader sector. So we have Ben today, thank you so much. So before I start about anything that we are talking about the subject, I want to know about you, your role, your solid experience that you have, and your position at the company.
So I actually started off many years ago in facilities management and construction for a small Swedish furniture retailer called IKEA, close to 20 years ago now, which was how I ended up here in the Middle East. So in around 2008, 2009, IKEA were building the Yas Island Abu Dhabi store, and I got asked to carry it on. And then being exposed to the in social circles with the offshore environment, I saw it as a bigger challenge in terms of managing risks and obviously a much more high-risk industry. So I took the big move working for a jack-up company in Abu Dhabi. I spent a few years there training and competence, health and safety training and competence, before moving to ADNOC. And then to what was previously Topaz Energy and Marine before the DP World acquisition in November 2019. And then we were merged together with P&O Maritime Services, Topaz Energy and Marine, to become P&O Maritime Logistics, where I'm currently sitting as the head of HSSEQ, Health, Safety, Security, Environment and Quality, and I'm sure they'll try and add a few additional roles on the end of that as well.
Fantastic. When we talk about maritime industry, health and safety is one of the key elements for the industry to be successfully running. Also, there are a lot of other factors from the environment point of view, which is one of them is decarbonization. So what is your take on that, and what are certain challenges and trends that you're seeing in the industry right now?
Okay, so I mean, our priority, and it will never change in terms of safety, is to make sure each and every one of our crew members returns home safely at the end of their shift or their rotation. We are facing big challenges, but I also see them as opportunities. So P&O Maritime Logistics, we're based across the globe. We've got river operations in Paraguay, we're in West Africa, Europe, obviously here in the Middle East, up in the Caspian, Papua New Guinea, Australia, and that's probably our biggest challenge, because we're not in a position on our decarbonisation journey to say, okay, methanol is going to be our fuel of choice, or ammonia. We have to review what's available in each of our business units now, but also look at the alternative fuel future landscape. So, what do we expect in 15, 20 years in a country like Paraguay or Papua New Guinea? So that when developing our decarbonisation pathway was a big focus for us and took a lot of time. But it also, while it was a challenge, it also gives us an opportunity, because we're not going to put all of our eggs in one basket, so to speak, and we are flexible and pragmatic when it comes to the availability of alternative fuels. We're trialling biofuel additives here in the Middle East. We're trialling biofuel additives potentially in very shortly in Paraguay. So having that flexibility, we believe, will also help us expedite, speed up our decarbonisation journey.
So what are some of the strategies that you've already implemented in terms of reducing carbon footprint in the region?
Okay, so here in the Middle East, we have we're currently running a pilot trial on our tugs and our pilots boats with a biofuel additive, which is initially showing very promising results, better than expected actually. But as part of our pathway, we're really looking at over the short term, which is between now and 2030. We have set ourselves a target of a 28% reduction in carbon emissions. And we're really focusing right now on optimization, efficiency. So how can we better improve our management of the vessels, our journey management, our voyage planning, training for the crew. Lots of low-hanging fruit because we're not in a position now, or we're not planning to be building these alternative fuels, and I think very few companies in our industry are. So we are focusing on what we can do immediately. It might be something simple as, you know, training the crew on how to better turn off the lights and manage the energy use on the vessels, to a lot more complicated, like the changing of lube oil filters to CJDC filters, which helps energy efficiency, or biofuel additives, or biofuels without not the additives but the actual biofuel. So there's lots, I'd say hundreds of initiatives that we're looking at now for the short-term initiative to reduce our emissions by 28%.
So, which is also very interesting, because when we are trying to do something like this on a broader level, collaborations and partnerships also play a very important role. What's your take on that, and how do you think that is going to help the decarbonization initiative?
I'm glad you asked that question, right? And because our industry, and this is a personal belief, but I think it's also a belief from our executive leadership as well, this industry won't be able to decarbonise without collaboration. In safety, when I started, my old health and safety manager said to me, there's no confidentiality in safety, meaning that we share lessons learned. When we have an incident, we want people to learn from that experience, not both in the company, but also outside the company. And I think our industry needs that same. We're very good at that in safety. We communicate to external clients, we communicate to our peers and competitors, and we communicate to industry bodies when we have a safety incident. And I believe we need to get to that same level with decarbonisation. So, for example, you know, if you follow our LinkedIn, you will see that we're beginning to post videos from our crew members of what they're doing on board the vessels, and we're happy to share that. And if one of our competitors or another organisation picks up on that and uses it, brilliant. You know, it's not something we think we should be keeping to ourselves. And I'd also like to see other companies doing this, because it is we're not going to do it on our own. Other companies might come up with better ideas than we, or something that we've missed. And I think that's where our industry should be going with decarbonisation. The collaboration is vital, from everything with our clients, because we have in the offshore industry a very what's the best way to put this, a model that's not best fit for decarbonisation in terms of the contractual models and how we operate offshore. So we need to engage with our clients and provide them with better solutions. We need to engage with our engine manufacturers. We need to engage internally with our people and our crew on board. So it really is has to be a truly collaborative effort for us to make progress on our decarbonisation journey.
That's fantastic. Also this year particularly, we've seen, because of COP28, sustainability being one of the buzzwords. Mm-hmm. What is your take on sustainability, and what are some of the sustainable initiatives that you have implemented this year?
So I don't think sustainability is a buzzword. I think it's critical for any organisations, and if an organisation is treating it as a buzzword, I'd have really serious. I'd be very surprised if they were still around in 10 years' time. Sustainability is extremely important to P&O Maritime Logistics, and also our parent company DP World. We have a dedicated sustainability manager who looks after everything from gender equality. One of the great initiatives that's been put in this year is our crew welfare, supporting our crew with basically contacts if they need somebody to talk to for whatever reason. And I think that's a great initiative that's been put in place on our vessels. And there's more to come. So I know that we're working on a sustainability report that looks at everything from what we're doing within business units from a health and safety side of things, but also looking at what we're doing in the communities where we work in. So we've got a lot of good initiatives from cadet programs, female cadets, places like Mozambique, Papua New Guinea, and I think that's something that we're very proud of in P&O. The development of local, I don't like using the word content, but local people. And that's what we're really pushing forward with.
Digital transformation is, another important aspect in the industry. So what's your take on that, and how is technology playing a big role in operation excellence?
We're continually on our digitization journey. Technology is helping us on our decarbonisation pathway. We've got systems like Fuel Tracks, which is a fuel monitoring system that will help us identify where the ships can be better utilised to reduce the fuel consumption on board. We're also, I believe, pioneering some aspects of with digitisation. We've got our AI safety assistant, which we call ACER here at P&O, which is basically a ChatGPT powered safety assistant that's been trained on our own internal processes and procedures. So now crew members are able to access a safety assistant 24/7, 365 days a year, but more importantly in any language. Because within P&O, like I say, we are very diverse. I believe it's over 12 different languages spoken within the organisation, but with ACER, any crew member, any language can get information whenever they want. So,
ACER, let's talk more about that. What was the vision and concept behind building this?
Yeah, I've talked about this a lot. So basically, it's nearly a year now. On the 29th of November, I remember it vividly because I remember the tweet about ChatGPT. I started playing around with it. Mm-hmm. Initially, I was writing, like a lot of people, writing nursery rhymes for my kids and stories and things like that. And then over the next few months, I gradually, I'm using it a lot, not a lot, but I could see the improvements being made. So I could see that it was starting to be something that could be used in the workplace. And it was basically, when you start looking at it, there's lots of things that it's very good at in the workplace, but there's also things that it shouldn't be used for. So rather than, and I was concerned with the things that we shouldn't be using it for, but I also saw it as a great tool, and our IT team did as well, and also Martin, our CEO, that we didn't want to block it. So that's basically where ACER came about. We wanted a tool that would help people use ChatGPT right within a business environment like ours, a maritime business, but also divert people away and guide them away from things that they shouldn't be using it for. And that was the basic start of ACER, but it's just developed and developed, and as ChatGPT has also developed as well, ACER's getting better, more intuitive, lots of future plans for it that we're very excited about.
Can you, on the technical aspect, can we talk more about how artificial intelligence is embedded in ACER, and where do you see that helping the industry in the near future?
Okay, so the artificial intelligence, the thing that struck me most when I first started using it was that this tool is available to everyone. I mean, I know they've got a paywall now with a more advanced, but still the 3.5 chat, anybody with an internet connection can use this. And that's what really blew me away. It's not like an autonomous ship or, you know, a robot that's only available to a select few. It's available to everybody. So I think organisations should be experimenting with it, if not already adopting it. I see a lot of really positive use cases for it. You know, if we look at training and how training can be developed, you know, historically we've developed PowerPoint presentations. These might be broken down obviously for different functions, but also maybe designations. Now we can develop a ChatGPT bot that can be specifically for masters training. But also give intuitive. It'd be two-way conversations almost. So if a question is wrong, rather than a red X or a green tick, it can give feedback, show areas where they've answered right and where they've answered wrong, and then that can be tailored for different ranks. So historically, maybe we might have split the training between deck and engine, or maybe senior and ratings, but now we can actually go into more detail with the specific ranks. I also see, and I'm very excited about planned maintenance and how it can be used with planned maintenance. Being able to go into an engine room and saying, okay, I hear a funny vibration from this pump, and being able to say, okay, well, have you checked this, have you checked that? And also with the videos and photos that can be used now, just taking a picture of a damaged equipment or a damaged pipe or corrosion, something like that, and getting that feedback immediately. That's what I certainly see. We're certainly experimenting with now. I'm not saying that we're ready to go with it, but that's certainly two of the use cases, and there's many, many more.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Also, I want to take your opinion on the entire industry per se. Where do you see that in the next 5 years, and especially when it comes to health, safety, environmental excellence and sustainability, everything put together? Where do you see the industry?
I see it moving forward. I definitely see there's lots of opportunities. If we look at health and safety and we look at decarbonisation separately, I think, for every organisation in our industry, health and safety will always be at the forefront. With the safety first mentality, I see a lot more of HOP principles coming into play, which is human organisational performance. With the philosophy around that, it's basically that how safe an organisation is how many mistakes people can make before they get hurt. So it's adopting a different philosophy where historically we were focused on training people to not make mistakes. This is more along the lines of, we know people will make mistakes, so what can we do to make it safe so that people can make mistakes without getting injured? It's a lot more complicated than that, but that's the basic fundamentals, and I see a lot of our industry moving in that direction, which is exciting, encouraging. I think some organisations are in better positions than others to begin up implement the HOP principles, but it's something that we're going to be moving towards in the near future. And then decarbonisation. I expect some big changes in technology. Batteries, I think, are going to just continue to get better and better. I don't think this miracle fuel that everybody in the maritime industry is, we're going to see it in the next 5 years, but I do expect some big advances in technology that's going to help every organisation on their decarbonisation journey.
And lastly, I think you have around 18 years of experience. Mm-hmm. I would say, what would be your message to the young generation who is looking forward to deep dive inside the industry? What is your take? Any message that you would like to share?
It's a good question. I think the thing I've enjoyed most about this industry is how dynamic it is, and it can often be very challenging. But with those challenges, there's always opportunities, and you learn very, very quickly. Because if you don't, you soon find out. So for the young people, I would really encourage them to have a look. Oil and gas has got a very and offshore. It's got there's a bit of a stigma behind it now, but we're still going to be needing oil in 10, 20, 30 years time. And I think this industry is doing the most to adapt and change and decarbonise at the quickest. So I would really encourage, if you're looking for a dynamic role where every day is different and you're facing different challenges, and if that excites you, then this is certainly the industry for you.